What's up, guys? I wanted to talk about how I write songs, and maybe this can help you with some ideas. Maybe if you're feeling stuck. Now, and I brought this up, I love using Guitar Pro. I have Guitar Pro 8. I think you got to pay for it. This isn't sponsored, but I totally love this program. This thing is so great for writing songs. So maybe I'll make a little guide later on a different video on how to use Guitar Pro 8. The actual sounds of it are not fantastic, but it's so good for writing. So as you can see, I have guitar 1, guitar 2. So it's right guitar, left guitar, bass is centered, drum is, you know, drums are all over the place. So how do I start it? How do I start a song? There's a few places that I'll start a song from. Number one, most often will be, or maybe all these will be interchangeable in terms of how often I use them. But the first one that comes to mind is just playing on a guitar. You're just playing a riff. So you're fiddling on the guitar, fiddling on the guitar. I don't know. You're doing whatever on the guitar, and you come up with a riff that you like, and you're playing it over and over again. Typically, that riff will end up being your main riff if you really like it. Another way that I come up with a riff is I'll hum it, or I'll do like that Jack. You know how Jack Black sings to himself, so I'll do that type of thing. So where did this song start? Let's isolate it. How did this song begin? Like, okay, so if you haven't listened to it, it's on everything. It's called Boss Battle Ruby Ridge by Robotic Death Machine. So this is the electronic version of how it starts. I guess I'll just skip ahead. Why am I going to show you guys the whole thing? But this is the first riff that I came up with. I might as well let both guitars go so it sounds good. So that was my idea. Bum 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 bam. So the idea of this 3-2 playing over and over again was part of this idea. So this was the real idea. Okay. Now next, I'm someone I like to add different things throughout the song. So it doesn't stick with the dan it changes up. So let's play it all through. So you hear how there's a little bit of while it's very repetitive, the lyric is a repetitive phrase, which is it's extremely repetitive. But there's a little bit of a progression happening in the song. So you have the dan it, then you have dern it, then you have dan it. So you know what I mean? I'm trying to like sing it, but you get what I'm saying. So that's your main riff. I notice a lot of people in even like really big bands. Sometimes they don't add this little element of change, which can really help a song out. So that's your main riff. Next, I'll talk about how I start with the intro. So when I scroll up, a lot of my songs, I'll start with the right guitar playing by itself. That's no other instruments are playing. Then that comes in. So what we just listened to was, I call it like the intro to the intro. like the true opening of the song, or the true like the first thing that you hear in the song. But really, right here is where the actual intro starts, when everything's playing. Okay, so how did I write this part? So basically, I start with another riff. I have this intro riff. It's just going to do the same thing over and over again. So how do I add the left guitar, which is kind of like your melodic, creative guitar? Well, I just play this on repeat, and I'll pick up my guitar, or I'll hum to myself, and I'll figure out what I want to do. So what did I figure out I wanted to do? This is what I came up with. So I don't really know how to tell you how to do something like that. All I know is how I wrote it. Basically, I had this main riff playing, and I just came up with this idea while this thing was playing. So I said, what's going to sound good while this is going? That's kind of how I envision it. I can't sing it, but I hope you get what I'm saying. So if you want an actionable thing, you can just play that. You can play your riff and find some sort of a melody to play over it. Another thing is how else do I like to write songs? I like the idea of having a lyric in mind of how you want the lyric to go. So I knew I wanted this. Before I even wrote any of the song, I liked this idea of fight the power, because there's this this is ridiculous, but there is this A Day to Remember song called Second Sucks. And at the very beginning, there's this voice. It says fight. And I was inspired by that, essentially. So that's why the lyric is the way that it is. So it's supposed to be, the idea of the lyric is it's this voice, this sky voice that echoes over this dramatic scene. And the dramatic scene could be anything. So that's why in this part it goes, fight the power, fight the power. That's how it's all fits together. I think that's enough of this song. What about a different song? Craighead is an interesting one. So Craighead, the drum beat will come in. So Craighead is inspired by the Ready or Not OST soundtrack, the one where when you get in a gunfight, this kind of similar drum beat plays. So I basically took that drum beat. It's maybe not exactly the same, but it's essentially based off the Ready or Not drum beat. And I decided to write a song around that. But it's all based off of the drum beat. Most of my songs are based off of a guitar. So this one's an interesting one. So as you can hear, this one's unreleased. Guitar's not really doing too much crazy stuff here. It's just supporting the drum beat. Now we're obviously still in the intro. Right guitar does something weird. Left guitar comes in. totally doing their own thing, kind of works together. This is where the lyrics come in. It's kind of rapped. You can hear. So that's an interesting one. That's kind of how you can write a song based off the drum beat, and interestingly, that drum beat literally does not change the whole song. There might be a point where it does like one little thing, but barely. What else do I have that could be interesting? Rex is an interesting one. This one was basically driven off of this idea. I had this idea of how a lyric should be sang, especially at the point where he yells. Where is it? Nashville, Metro Police. So I had this idea, Metro Police, yelling that. And really, the majority of the song is actually built off of this lyric being yelled, Metro Police, which is, you can watch the body cam of the Covenant Christian school shooting where Rex, the officer, shoots the gunman. And so that's what this whole song is inspired off of. Now this intro is a shoot off of the main riff. So it's similar to the main riff. It's just a little funkier. So what's the main riff? That's the main riff. It just does that. Then what's the I guess you would call this the not chorus, it's the pre-verse. I don't know, man. I don't know what it's called, but this is the part. So you come in. Yeah, this is the pre-verse. This is the lead up. See, I get a little funky here. Like, what do I put here? So yeah, see. Yeah, see, I added that little pinch harmonic. Oh, this is where I got funky. See, you know, you add a little flair every once in a while. This is where I do that thing again that I did in Boss Battle. See how they're interacting with each other. So essentially, I wrote this part first. I might have to mute this one too. It's hard for me to put into words exactly how the song gets made, but you can kind of just see where the thought process is. The drum kind of like I view it in most of these songs as like a puzzle piece, where really as a guitar writer, it's very difficult to write the drums. So what I typically do is I'll experiment and throw shit at the wall until something sticks, because typically, from my perspective, there's really only one way to write it, and that's not true at all. But there is definitely a lot of wrong ways to write the drums, and then you'll find a way that eventually fits it. And it's usually revolved around where the kick drum is and where the snare is. So when you're writing it, the kick and the snare have to basically be perfect. So maybe I can solo that. So. Yeah, see. So some songs are easier to fit the drums in. Some songs like Craighead are basically based off of the drum entirely. So the whole foundation of the song. Yeah, I mean it's tough. It's a lot of the songwriting should come naturally. There's certain ideas of how to write the song too, because there's there's the pre-intro where it's one instrument playing, right? See, there's going to be I guess I did write both guitars just for the sound, but essentially you only start with guitars and then the drum comes in after a pause and the bass comes in after the pause. Then you have the real intro, then you have the the lead in to the verse, then you have the verse. So um yeah. I also am not I can't play solos, so I just don't really write solos. In a way, in a way, this is kind of a solo. I mean, you tell me if you think this is a solo or not. It's more of a not a harmony, melody. So yeah, I mean, it's just simple, but it all serves the song. Maybe it's just I, don't have the skills to do it for the soloing, but but yet it all does fit together. And I'm more of a riff guy. I'm less of a solo guy in general. So yeah, but there's definitely room. If I ever did want to make solos, I could definitely make room for them in the songs. What else? What else would be good? Yeah, I think that's it. Who is honking their horn out here? Yeah, I think that's all I really had to say about the topic.